Assalamu alaikum. Good day everyone. So today everyone we're gonna discuss the lesson for the chapter 11. And today we're gonna talk about the digital self. Who am I in the cyber world or the digital self? So this day more people right now are being active in using the internet for research, pleasure, business communication and other purposes. Indeed, the internet is for great help for everyone. To other hand, people assume different identities while in the cyberspace. People act differently when they are online and offline. So, we have our real identity and online identity. So, the number of people who are become more active online continues to increase worldwide. More than half of the population worldwide now uses the internet. It has only been 25 years since the time Berners-Lee made the World Wide Web available to public, but in that time, the internet has already become an integral part of everyday life for most of the world population. The Philippines is among one of the countries with the most active internet users. Almost two-thirds of the world's population now has a mobile phone, more than half of the world's web traffic now comes from mobile phones. More than the half of mobile connections around the world are now broadband. More than 1 in 5 of world's population shop in the past 30 days. Media users in the Philippines grew by 12 million or 25%, while the number of mobile social users increased by 13 million or 32%. Those growth figures are still higher compared to the previous year. More than half the world now uses the smartphone. So, selective self presentation and impression management, according to Goffman and Leary, self-presentation is the process of controlling how one is perceived by other people and is the key to relationship inception and the development to construct positive images. Individuals selectively provide the information about them and carefully cater this information in response to others' feedback. Anything posted online should be considered public no matter what our privacy settings are. Let us say student wrote online about how much he hated another student in school and start bullying him online. Does it matter if the student said, well, this is my personal account, even if the student wrote in a private account? It can be become a public with a quick screen capture and shared to the whole world. Personal identity is the interpersonal level of the self which differentiate the individual as unique from others, while social identity is the level of the self whereby the individual is identified by his or her group members. Belk explained that sharing ourselves is no longer new, has been practiced as soon as human beings were formed. Digital devices help us share information broadly more than ever before. Those who are avid users of Facebook, it is possible that their social media friends are more updated about their daily activities, connection, and thoughts that their immediate families and diaries that were once private or shared only these close friends are not posted as a blogs. which can be viewed by anyone in website like Flickr or Photoboom, Photobook, Photobucket. That use of arm's length in self-photography indicates a major change in older family albums. The photographer was not often represented in the album, whereas with arm's length photos, they are necessarily included. In addition, the family album of an early era has become more of an individual photo gallery. In the digital age, as Squares mentioned, we have entered the extraordinary era of self-portraiture, meaning what do we mean by this? Portraiture, according by Squares, blogs, and web pages, have been continuously used for greater self-reflection and self-presentation, and Facebook and other social media applications are now a key part of self-presentation for one-sixth of humanity. As a result, researchers and participants become concerned with actively managing identity and reputation and warn against the phenomenon of oversharing. And sometimes people become unaware of the extent of information they share online. They forget to delineate what can be shared online and what should not. Furthermore, it provides a more complete narration of self and gives people an idealized view of they would like to be remembered by others, and many teenagers as well as some adults share even more intimate details with their partners like passwords. This could be an ultimate act of intimacy and trust, or ultimate expression of paranoia and distrust with a partner. Because of the conversion of private diaries into public revelation of the inner secrets, the lack of privacy in many aspects of social media make the users more vulnerable, leading to compulsively checking news feeds and continually adding tweets and posting in order to appear active and interesting. This condition has been called fear of missing out. People would like to remain updated, and they keep on sharing themselves online because it adds sense of confidence at their and especially if others like and share their posts. One of the reasons for so much sharing and self-disclosure online is the so called dishabitation effect. The lack of face-to-face gaze meeting together with feelings of anonymity and invisibility give people the freedom of the self-disclosure, but can also blame others and may cause conflict. Sometimes the resulting this inhibition causes people to believe that they are able to express their true self better online than they ever could in face-to-face context. But, however, it does not mean that there is a fixed true self. The self is still work in a progress, and we keep improving the and developing ourselves every single day. Seemingly self-revelation can be therapeutic to the others, especially if it goes together with self-reflection, but it does not appear that we now do a large amount of our identity work online. when the internet constantly asks you who who are you and what do you have to share, what on your mind. It's up to us if we are going to provide answer to such as queries. Every time we use the internet, and to what extent are going to share details to ourselves of, ourselves to others. In addition to sharing the good things we experience, many of us also share the bad, embracing and sinful things we experience. We also react and comment on negative experience of others. Sometimes we empathize with people. We also argue with others online. So the relationship may be made stronger or broken. Short posts, online blogs, and social media are the primary digital forum on which such conversation occur, but they can also be found in a photo and video sharing sites where the blunders and bad moments are also preserved and shared. So why confess to unseen and anonymous others in online? So in focus view of confessing our secret truth feelings, even as it binds us in a guilt motivated self-governance born of long history of Christian and pre-Christian philosophies and power structure according to focal confession along with contemplation, self-examination, learning, reading and writing, self-critical letters of friends are part of the technology of the self through which we seek to purge and cleanse ourselves. So despite of the veil of invisibility, writers on the internet write for unseen audience. Both the number and feedback or readers provide self-validation for the writer, and a certain celebrity confessional blogs may also the tactic for the audience to read, allowing both sincere empathy and the voyeuristic appeal of witnessing a public confession. Consequently, we should have filtering system to whatever information we share online as to what information we believe which are being shared or posted by others. We should not look at online information carefully whether they are valid and true before believing and promoting them. So, in the same way, we should also think well before we post or sharing anything online in order to prevent conflict, arguments, and cyberbullying, and to preserve our relationship with others. So gender and sexuality online according to Mark Wick. While the term sex, gender, and sexuality are often thought of as anonymous, they are actually quite distinct. The difference between the common understanding of these terms and how researchers think about yield key insight about the social functioning of genders. So sex is biological state that corresponds to what we might call a man or a woman. This might seem to be a simple distinction, but the biology of sex is actually very complicated. While sex is often explained as a biological fixed and immutable, it is actually socially constructed. Gender then is the social understanding of how sex should be experienced and how sex manifests in behavior, personality, preference, capability, and so forth. A person with male sex organs is expected to embody a masculine gender, while sex and a gender are presumed to be biological connected. We can understand gender a socio-culture specific set of norms that are mapped into a category of sex. Gender is historical. It is produced by media and popular culture. It is taught by families, schools, peer groups, and nation states. It's reinforced through songs, sayings, admonitions, language, fashion, and discourse. And it's deeply ingrained. Gender is a system of classification that values male gender things more than female. Related things this system plays out on the bodies of men and women in the construction hierarchy of everything from colors to academic departments to electronic gadgets and websites. Given this inequality in universe and the universalized male body and experience is often constructed as average or normal, while Filipino gendered experience are conceptualized as a virus from the norm. Sexuality is an individual expression and understanding of the desire, where like gender, this is often viewed as a binary or homosexual or heterosexual in reality. Sexuality is often experienced as a fluid, so how we're gonna perform a gender online? Terrorist, curious, Judith Butler conceptualized gender as a performance. She explained that popular understanding of gender and sexuality came to be through discourse and social processes. She argued that gender was performative in that produced through millions or individuals' action rather than something that comes naturally to men and women. Performance that adhere to normative understanding of gender and sexuality allowed, while those and do not are admonished. For example, a boy throwing like a girl. No, in 90s many internet scholars drew from Butler and other queer theories to understand online identity. According to this embodiment hypothesis, internet users are free to actively choose which gender of sexuality they are going to portray with and with a possibility of creating alternate identities, the ability of users to self-consciously adapt and play with different gender identities would reveal the choice involved the production of gender, breaking down the binaries and encouraging fluidity and sexuality in gender expression. Recently, social media has been celebrated for facilitating greater cultural participation and creativity. Social media sites like Twitter and YouTube have led to emerge of a free culture where individuals are empowered to engage in a culture production using raw materials ranging from homemade videos to mainstream television characters to create new culture memes, and humor. It is the best. This culture, memes, mashup, and creative political activism allow to civic engagement and fun creative apps, while Dig for Chan and Reddit are used mostly by most mostly by men. Most social network sites users are women. This is true in Facebook, Flickr, LiveJournal, and Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube, but more equality of use does not indicate quality of participation. With both men and women use Wikipedia. 87 of Wikipedia contributors were identified as male. Students are more likely to create, edit, and distribute digital video over YouTube or Facebook than female students. However, the Poor Internet and American Life Project found no discernible difference in user-generated content by the gender except remixing, which most likely among teen girls. One explanation of this difference is that user-generated content is often cultured by gender. Researchers have consistently shown that similar members of men and women maintain a blog about 14 of internet users, while the number of male and female bloggers is roughly equivalent. They tend to blog about different things. Overwhelmingly, overwhelmingly, overwhelmingly certain types of blogs are written and read by women, like food, fashion, presenting, while others, how technology, politics, are written and run by men. Although the technology are the same, the norms, and mores of people using then differ. So setting boundaries to your online self or smarting sharing. I have a guidelines which will help you share information online in smart way that will you protect yourself and not to harm others. So before posting or sharing anything online, you can consider the following. First is the post story necessary. You ask yourself, that is the real benefit to this post. It is funny, warm hearted, reachable, or I'm just making noise online without purpose. How you as family or parent-child resolve this issue, an issue that is still being worked at home, or one that is either vulnerable or highly emotional, should be made public. Is it appropriate? Thus, it is when it boundaries of our family values. Will this seems as funny of 5, 10, or 15 years? Or is this post better suited for sharing with a small group of family members? Maybe not all. So I have her rules to follow, some additional guidance for proper sharing of information, and a technical uses of internet according to New Year 2014 first stick of safer sites. Guys, your password, limit what you share. Remember, anything you put online or post on the site is there forever if you try to delete it. And do not mean or embarrass other purpose online. Always tell if you strength or bad behavior online. Be juicy about your online friends. Be patient. Thank you so much. And that's all. Thank you.